I want to cover what is the best AI IDE. I have done a lot of content on AI IDEs, and there definitely is a gap between these. It is not a pick whatever you want, choose your preference, in my opinion. This is going to be a completely biased opinion. This is going to be the Grok version of this, not the ChatGPT version of this. This will not be the politically correct, everybody wins, everybody gets a participation trophy. I'm even going to take a big risk, which is I'm going to evaluate an open source contender, which, if anybody's familiar with Jack Harrington, one of the nicest people I've ever talked to in the world, he got so much crap for ranking open source projects because it's like, oh, people open source, they do it for free, for the love of ball. Like, why are you talking shit on people's free work they're doing after hours? I'll be honest, a lot of open source products are funded by something. Doesn't mean open source projects are fun. Even if they're funded, people are mean and get up issues. Like, it's no joke. It's like not as funny as I make it sound. It is like traumatizing, mentally traumatizing. People who work in open source are actually saints, to be honest. And there's a reason why I believe that open source projects are so good. It's because you get so much raw feedback. You're forced to focus on what people need. There's like no way out of it. It's terrible for your mental health. But I've worked in other product teams where the team is kind of blind to feedback, just coming up with their genius ideas and implementing them, and none of them ever work. And like just really deeply internalizing and feeling the pain of your customers all the time and working to solve those problems can be way more effective. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go, maybe we'll go in order here. This is a random order, so we're just going to go in the order here. First one is Trae. So let's open up Trae really quickly. So Trae is the pretty one. This is a very pretty IDE. Let's open up some stuff. Let's go open the sidebar. Let's open, whoops, okay. Let's open this gigantic UI file. This is a very pretty IDE. It's modern. Let's get it in the view here all the way. It is modern. This is the first VS Code fork that actually says, like, let's make VS Code not feel like VS Code. VS Code doesn't feel necessarily modern and pretty. Now, keep in mind, there's this thing called Fleet by JetBrains that this totally ripped off. Like, the UI is not invented by them. They changed it a bit. They use their own icons. They use their own colors. This is a very pretty IDE. If I ask anybody, why do you like Trae? It's two reasons. It's free, 100% free. 1,000,000% free. It is, as far as I understand, unlimited free. There's probably a limit at some point, but there's not, last I checked, there's just not a paid plan. Like, let's go to Trae pricing. Can you pay for Trae? I'm pretty sure you cannot. Yeah, Trae is completely free if you believe Google. Actually, Google is okay. Google is quoting Builder.io blog. So if you believe our blog, which is a blog post in the last few days, so great, fantastic. Trae is free. Pricing will be introduced in the future, but today it is free. So use it like crazy. And it's Claude 3.5 Sonnet. It is unlimited free access to Claude 3.5 Sonnet. That is amazing. The UI is beautiful and pretty. But that's where the good parts stop. In my opinion, let's go to our list. In my opinion, Trae is a C. I wouldn't recommend anybody use it. The only reason I recommend using it is if you're literally like a starving student, where you just cannot pay. You have no room to pay. In my opinion, everyone should pay $20 a month for a good option. All the good options fall within that range. But the big thing here is coding is expensive. In my opinion, these are all ridiculously cheap options. Engineers cost a lot of money per hour, no matter where you live in the world, relative to your cost of living of that area. And even if you live in a very, very low cost of living area, and maybe the $20 a month for a lot of these options is more like $200 a month for you, it's still worth it. I've made the argument before. If the best options here were $2,000 a month, you should pay it because it is making you better at your job. You can build better, faster if you use these effectively. That's worth a lot of money. Don't get stuck in like, well, my iPhone apps are only $5, so I don't want to pay that much. Like, think about the value you're getting. So pay some money, unless you literally are 100% broke. And maybe coding's not like your main thing. Like maybe you code, just dabble on the side. Then yeah, sure, whatever. Like you get a little bit of good AI stuff. It's not the easiest to use, but cool. Let's keep going through the list. Things get interesting from here. The next one is Zed. So let's go to Zed. This one is going to be highly polarizing because people absolutely love Zed or absolutely hate Zed. There is not an in-between with Zed. The people who love Zed is a very clear group of people. It's Vim users. Why? I am not a Vim user, so I have to tell you what other people say. What they say is VS Code's Vim mode is not good, and Zed's Vim mode is excellent, stellar. Zed is built from the ground up for performance. I believe it's built in Rust, maybe Zig or something. I believe Rust, though. And it's by the team that made the Atom text editor, which was notoriously slow. So they said, we're just going to rebuild the whole thing from scratch because we know how to build one of these now, 100% for performance. This Zed gets extreme credit because out of this list, they are, besides Visual Studio Code, they're the only group here that built an entire IDE from scratch and built it at a lower level. It's not TypeScript. It is built with a memory management language. I think it's Rust. That is awesome. And so if you are coming from Vim, NeoVim, your terminal, and you want something that's a little bit more robust UI-wise and feels very similarly fast, this is a very interesting option. People who love Vim love Zed. And that is very cool, and I have a lot of respect for this team. That said, we're talking about AI IDEs and AI features, and Zed is bad. It is very, very bad at AI. It is very, very bad and disappointing. This is the equivalent of many years ago, where people were at. It does not do good. I mean, it does not, out of the box, it's not even going to just do basic autocomplete. I'm going to type const delay equals nothing. Now you can add GitHub Copilot, but they have AI features. Why don't they do that one? But that's fine. Whatever. That one's not super critical. They do inline editing. That's okay. And they do have a sidebar chat. What is it? Assistant, toggle inline assistant. Nope, I don't want that. Inline assistant's actually okay. But everybody's got that thing. We want to go the assistant sidebar. I will say the other really annoying thing is I opened this thing up, having not used it in a little while, and I couldn't even remember how to use the AI features. They're so freaking buried. Oh my god, now I don't even know how to click on things. I hate this thing. I hate Zed. But again, I know it's polarizing. I know that's just me. See, the assistant won't even open. See, now this is freaking out. Can you see? Hold on, let me get this in view. This is just going crazy. I can't even open the assistant to show you. But the assistant absolutely sucks. It's not good. It is it's a very, very, very basic chat. It's very, very bare bones. In the age of LLMs being the most crucial way that we can change how people interact with their IDEs and their code, they just shat the bed at this. I'm so disappointed in Zed for this regard. I have huge respect for them for building things from scratch, lower level, super fast. As a side note, it's not super fast for me. It's noticeably laggier than VS Code. I don't know why. I shared that on Twitter, and people were appalled. And the Zed team, they're kind of reached out and were very open to pairing with me and trying to figure it out. I didn't take the time. That is totally on me. But I don't like this thing, and so I'm going to put this thing on my list in the F tier. When it comes to AI IDEs, this thing is not good. And if you like Zed, you probably do not have any idea what you're missing. Maybe Vim mode is more important than just the machine that can just write the code for you. And maybe you work on code that just isn't good with, LLMs are not perfect at everything, and some types of code are better at than others, and maybe that's what you do. Maybe you write raw assembly in a very specific style, and this AI is not good at it, and you want to use Zed, and that's great. More power to you. This is my list, not yours. Anyway, let's keep going. Cline. Cline is 100% open source. I believe they have VC funding now, though, so maybe we're allowed to talk shit. Cline was one of the first to do Model Context Protocol. That's awesome. They just launched a Model Context Protocol store. Hold on, let me find this. Cline MCP store. This is really cool because the biggest problem with MCP, in my opinion, is setting it up. Setting up is a pain. So yeah, let's go over here. Let's look at this. Boom. MCP store. That is awesome. Type what you want. Enter it. Cline will set it up for you, so the AI will install it for you. It'll ask you if it needs a key or something, and bam, you've got it. So now you can just install, boom, my AI can talk to GitHub, it could talk to Brave Search, it could talk to whatever, it can have extra deep thinking. We can use, there's probably an MCP server for using R1 for thinking. The other cool thing about Cline, let's open Cline. I'm just going to open it over here. I don't even know how to use anything. Hold on, let me figure out how to use a computer for seconds. Okay. The other cool thing about Cline is you don't pay Cline anything. Cline is you input your own keys. Let me see if I can remember how to do that. There we go. So you could put an Anthropic API key or an OpenRouter API key. Anything, all this stuff. You can use your own keys. I haven't tried it, but you could probably use this thing locally with Ollama, 100% local. Maybe you buy that new NVIDIA personal supercomputer and plug it into your Mac or PC, and you're just running the model right there. That is awesome. You can use any model you want. Yes, Cursor knows Swordport a lot, but it's just 100% open source and free. Your own keys. They're not trying to monetize anything. They're not trying to like scam you into or surprise you into there you hit the limit. Now, there are downsides to this, which is let's go in here and let's go in and let's say, sorry, I'm just going to make something up. Add a settings button next to the import to Figma button. This is for our Figma plugin. We added some cool new features that has a drop down of options, like one to toggle using frames on the imports. Okay, doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense. I don't even know if y'all can actually even see that. But anyway, cool, you can. So what will happen is this API cost thing. This thing gives me so much anxiety, I cannot even start to explain. I don't care that it's fractions of pennies. It's so anxiety inducing, knowing that everything I do, look at, there's a dollar sign, everything I did just cost me money. It freaks me out, man. It really does. And you can set caps. You can approach this whole, I mean, if you use OpenRouter, they have like clever caching to reduce costs or some shit like that. It really gives me anxiety. And so this one request was 17 cents. But like, I'm doing this all the time. Now it's 20 cents. Like, I'm doing these all the time, every day, all the time. It really just makes me uncomfortable. That probably won't be the case for everyone. And again, you hook it up to a local model if you have that hardware, great. Now keep in mind, most local models that works decent enough on most people's machines is not going to give you good results for coding. Now that might change. The small models keep getting better, like fast. Like while the big models have kind of slowed down and reasoning's the next frontier and blah, blah, blah. The small models are not slowing down. They keep getting smarter. So that's cool. And we make them more specialized and yada, yada. But yeah, I mean, I just flipped a quarter to Anthropic's API right now. And like if I'm coding all day, I'm doing like a quarter per task. Here's a quarter. Here's a quarter. That very incremental drip of money is really, really anxiety inducing. I like knowing that if I use another option, it's $20 a month. I can use it unlimited. It might get slowed down a little bit. Maybe they have to upgrade to another tier. But like, yeah. I will say Cline is not as good at updating like super duper massive files. You see it's actually combing over this many times. Cline is good at context. It can find context effectively and index your site rep effectively. And the really cool thing it does, and maybe it'll try and do this. No, it won't, because this is not like a Vite project or something. But what Cline will do that still nobody else does is it will it was one of the first to do that automatically detect like TypeScript errors and stuff and automatically fix those. That's awesome. It was one of the first to do agentic, like run your build command and see if that fails and automatically fix it. Really, really impressive and awesome. But it still is the only one that I know of that will know intelligently. It'll open up, it'll use Anthropic's computer use, and it'll pull up a browser and open up your site in it, your local server, and it'll go to the right route, and it'll see if the UI updates or whatever is correct. That is crazy, crazy awesome in my opinion. Okay, hold on. My computer's freezing here. I need to stop Cline. Oh my God. Sorry. My mouse is barely working here. Oh my God. Maybe my stream is breaking up. And I need to quit some apps right now. I gotta quit Figma. That is probably killing my computer right now. I would not be surprised. My stream is broken right now. Apologies. This thing is gonna blow up. Maybe because I have 10 IDEs open at once. Why don't we close a few IDEs? Goodbye, Trae. You're gonna go away. We don't need you anymore. You've had your moment. Zed, goodbye. And I'm gonna kill some servers. And hopefully the stream is gonna get less choppy here in a second. Yeah, I was eating memory. Oh, we're gonna kill Descript. Why is Descript running? Why is Figma Helper still running? I quit Figma. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Okay, we're back in the green, everybody. We're good. So anyway, Cline will open up. Cline will open up and check that it built things right, and it'll iterate till it does. Great. Until things are right. That is amazing. So let's go to our tier list. So I'm impressed. They're doing cool stuff. They have a great community. They've got Discord. They're very active in it. They're releasing stuff like crazy. I am very, very impressed with the Cline team. they're definitely not the best option. Cline messes up a decent amount in my experience compared to some other options. It is not the no-brainer go-to for a lot of stuff. Okay, the lag just started when I started using Cline. Okay, Cline is like killing my computer resources for some reason. I've actually not noticed that in other cases. Maybe it's doing it now. I don't know why. I'm putting Cline as a B. Cline might continue to grow. Cline has been innovating in cool ways. Cline is open source. I have a lot of good things to say. It's not my daily driver. I don't go to it day to day. I find that it takes longer to do things. It updates files. It makes more mistakes. It misses the right file. It has to regenerate the file more times. And the anxiety of the pay bits at a time. But some people might love it because they can just connect anything. They can build locally, etc. Okay, now things are getting more interesting. And I'll tell you, this was a completely random order for this list. I did not order these any specific way. The next one is GitHub Copilots. So GitHub Copilots is the OG. It's the first to do any AI in the IDE. It is a Microsoft project. Basically the VS Code team. Like VS Code, GitHub Copilot all kind of feel same in a lot of ways. They started strong. I loved GitHub Copilot. When they came out, I was blown away. GitHub Copilot, it ruled. Let's see GitHub Copilot. So Visual Studio Code, let's launch this. And okay, I mean, they kind of kicked off the party too with this whole idea of you've got the special Copilot sidebar, Cursor and Windsurf. I don't know who copied who at this point, but like, hey, Copilot did it. Copilot did it pretty, it's kind of setting a lot of standards because they are the VS Code team in a lot of ways, is my understanding. It's becoming such a native part. You've got, and VS Code adopted, because this whole adopted this really easy kind of navigate the different bars window. This was kind of new to me at some point. It's got the GitHub Copilot icon right here in the beginning. Anybody using VS Code, which is kind of the standard, especially new developers, probably going to just adopt GitHub Copilot. And they added some agentic features. They added some, they're copying Cursor. And Cursor copies Windsurf and some things. Everybody's copying everybody. Cursor's like the front runner in terms of like what people copy most, and like what is growing really, really fast and kind of gets a lot of the hype. Windsurf's been getting a lot of hype lately too, though, so don't get me wrong. Here's the thing, though. GitHub Copilots. So their chat was fine. Like they did chat kind of early and like cool, like chat's fine, like chat's whatever. It was useful for a period of time, but edit with Copilot is like the really, really good thing. That's like Cursor's Composer, Windsurf Cascade, Trae's Builder mode, Cline just is that. Zed just doesn't have this at all, which is this, by the way, this kind of chat and we're going to read and automatically update files for you. That's how I code. Like my default way of coding is that all day, every day. I'll go in and fix stuff and I'll review the code. Sometimes not closely enough. I sent a PR and a VP of engineering caught like horrible security vulnerabilities that AI added in. Eek. I should have caught that from a manual review. So be careful, kids, with AI coding. Have a good VP of engineering review your code. But edit with Copilot. The last time I tested it, which was fairly recently, they have put out some updates, but I tried to do a thorough test and I can't do like a thorough test like every couple weeks. Last time I used it, I was wildly disappointed. It was bad. It was dumb. The indexing and search was bad. The code updates it was bad. You have to manually annotate files. If you do this code base thing, that's supposed to, if they use it, it'll scan your code base for you. Bad, slow, ineffective. I've never been impressed with GitHub Copilot in recent years, if you compare it to the new things. Now, Anil mentions I'm on an old version of VS Code. Am I on an old version of VS Code Copilot? This will reflect, whatever you see here is what I last tested deeply on. How do I even update to the latest? Restart to update. Okay, just got to restart the thing. Let's see. Is edits now out of beta? That would be great. I probably need to do a thorough test. I will say one thing, though. GitHub Copilot's been hyping their new cursor killer features for a while, and I've been disappointed for a while. And I've shared my thoughts on this for a while, and people love to disagree with anybody on YouTube. I've seen almost no more unanimous agreement in my comments than GitHub Copilot fucking sucks. Like, by today's standards, from those people who compare the different options, GitHub Copilot is bad. Now, it looks like GitHub Copilot is out of beta in the latest version. And so maybe, let's try it. Let's do a live spin right now. Let me open up, I'm going to open up the Figma plugin. And I'm going to give it a prompt. So let's make sure we stash anything. I hate this new terminal UI they did with the scrolling left and right. I always have to close these. This drives me crazy. I don't know what the hell they were thinking on this. Git stash Okay, let's try something real quick. So let's go to Copilot edits. And let's try that same thing we tried with Cline. By the way, that thing I tried pretty much always one shot works great with some of the better options that I'm going to get to. Oh my god, I don't know how to make these sidebars go away. Go away. Get bigger. Okay. So we're going to go. I also don't love it when there is a difference chat and like edit interface. I just want to have one chat bar that can just access and write files. But okay, let's start from scratch. And I'll say when generating Figma designs with AI, when I next to the import to Figma button, give me a settings button with a popover with an option to toggle on and off using frames when importing. Okay. Okay. So let's see how it does. Oops, I forgot to tag codebase. Is it okay without that? Does it not need that? Okay. Oh, it's creating a component. Okay, let's see. Hey, this thing could go up on the list right here, right now. You will see it live if this will go up on the list. I will tell you, in my experience, from doing a lot of these types of tests, you can tell pretty quickly if these things are like good or not. It's not good. It's not good. This is so annoying. It's saying, oh, we need to install an icon library. It's not detecting I have an icon library. If you look at the code at all, you'll see I'm using the same icon library, tabular icons everywhere. It's like, oh, you need to install headless UI, React, hero icons. No, I don't. I don't want that. Like, what is this shit? I don't. And so what did it do? Hold on. Let's see what it did. Let's go to the source. It didn't do anything. I have to accept, but I don't want to accept until I can see the diff of the files. So if I click, I don't know what the hell's going on, man. Okay, so what did it do? Here's what it did. It's hard to fit all this stuff in the screen. So if I go file by file, I can click. So I got the settings popover. So that seems fine. Okay. It's using Tailwind. This is not a Tailwind project. There is no Tailwind in this project. So, ugh. And then it just created a new import button. It created an import Figma button. That's not what I asked. Bad. It's doing bad. Now let's try something better. And it's super annoying. I can't just see the diff. It's discard. This was bad. I tend to find better results with these things if I just kind of start over. Oh my god, go away. So new chat. It's weird. I discarded it. It tried to. That was weird. It was like telling me to save files. So let's go codebase. Okay. So what was my prior prompt? Okay. And this time we're gonna go hashtag codebase. We're using Claude Sonnet here. So let's go. One more try. GitHub Copilot. Can you do a good job? It searched for import to Figma. Okay. I gave it. I helped it, man. I gave it the exact text of the button I wanted. It found the file. Okay. I might have cheated there. I gave it the exact text. I mean, there are certain IDEs that can do a really good job in general. But this one, I gave it the exact. Oh, okay. It found this HTML to Figma. All right. Let's see if it can do it. It's generating. I think that's what we want. Oh, it's reading the right files. Hey, this thing might go up. This might go up a tier if it does something even vaguely interesting. Now, I would love it if it would just, hashtag codebase would just be how it works by default. And the search was faster. It used to be crazy slow. That is faster. So that is better than I've seen before. This might be a redemption arc. Now, I also know to use the agentic features, you have to flip on some settings and stuff. It's a little annoying. Other products like Cursor and Windsurf will surface those. Like, you'll see a new agent button. But, GitHub Copilot's super cautious. They're like, oh, you have to, go deep in this setting and flip this one on and stuff. It's a little bit annoying, but, whatever. And yes, if I opened a file and gave it specific context, it can do a better job. But I really think that is just not the state of the art anymore. That is last year's state of the art. This year's state of the art is you have an index of the project. It's how autocomplete works. Like the fact that when you autocomplete, it can reference other files. These products have an index and the way to do a semantic search. I will say this is really freaking slow. So while the initial search was kind of fast, it's doing these really slow one-at-a-time searches. I'm a little disappointed with the search speed. It's still disappointingly slow. Now, it's without a doubt on the right track. So I think it's probably going to get there. But I am suffering. I am really suffering. And I have to wrap up the stream in 10 minutes, and I have not even covered Windsurf and Cursor. So, I don't have time, GitHub Copilot. I do not have time for you to take so long at this. And it's updating the wrong file. This is understandable because we have this other older design chat feature. Okay. It did not succeed. It took a very, very long time. It didn't succeed. Let's do a really quick look at, does it have the, what the hell? Like, what did it do? It only updated, oh my God. It didn't do anything. It did all the right things and then it didn't update anything. All it added was icon settings. Oh my God. GitHub Copilot is so disappointing. This edits mode is so disappointing. It doesn't work. The chat here is saying that they're sleeping now. The chat is asleep because it's so bad and it didn't do it right. It was on the right track. You searched the right things. It took you an eternity, but you searched the right things, but you didn't update anything. There's not a diff here. If I accept and I go here, because this diff view is clearer to me, where is, oh, I have to save too for some reason. That's annoying. Just save it for me. That's the diff. That's what it spent so much time doing. Bad, 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 bad. You are so fucking bad, GitHub Copilot. I am tempted to put it as an F. It's the OG. It has a good autocomplete. It's a C. Z is worse. But God, GitHub Copilot, for a second I thought you might do okay. I'm annoyed. I'm so annoyed. We took so much time on that. We got to go to Windsurf because Windsurf is actually really good. So let's jump into Windsurf. Here's what you have to know about Windsurf. And up until literally today, it had one major leg up on Cursor, and there was a reason that I recommended it over Cursor for a lot of people. It has one chat mode, Cascade, and it defaults you to the good mode. The good mode is the writes. Writes in Cascade is the you chat and it updates anything. It does a very good job. It has good autocomplete. It has good inline edits. Cascade is very good. It was one of the first, if not the first, to do the agentic stuff where it can like iterate and find the issues and continue to correct them. This team cooks. I'm very impressed. The UI is sleeker, up until recently, than Cursor's. So I used to be torn on Cursor versus Windsurf. And for a lot of new programmers, you know, I would just say use Windsurf. Because why? With Cursor, I would have to tell people, well, with Cursor, you need to make sure to turn on Composer. You have to switch to agent mode. I'll get to Cursor in a second. You need to change a setting to make sure the agent mode sticks. You have to not use the chat. Like, you got to do some setup. And I just got, talking to my friend on the phone. Just like, just get Windsurf. It just has the right features out of the box. Just get Windsurf, type stuff in the box, see applications happen. It had some other nuances I liked too, but Cursor actually has added those. I would say that both these teams are shipping fast and cooking and doing a good job. So everything is very good in Windsurf. I am going to put Windsurf as an A. They are very good. You cannot go wrong with Windsurf in my opinion. They are a good daily driver. They have a slightly cheaper starting point than Cursor, that I hear you hit limits faster. They have a couple weird quirks in their pricing, but I could show you a million tests where I use Windsurf's Cascade to do all kinds of stuff. Oops, I'm not trying to open wireless diagnostics. I could show you all kinds of stuff where I use Windsurf to like produce this and that and whatever, but it does a good job. It is best in class at just type, prompt, and update multiple files and just make it work. A lot of people like Windsurf over Cursor. Not many people. I mean, I will tell you, this ranking is roughly aligned with what I see people on the interweb saying. There's a lot of Windsurf fans. There's not a ton of Trae fans, but the people who like it like the aesthetics of it. Zed has a very small group of very passionate fans, Vim users. Nothing wrong with the Vim user, by the way, just it's the Vim users. GitHub Copilot, everybody's, it's fine these days, especially if you haven't really tried anything else. Cline, some people love Cline because Cline is cool. But Windsurf is very good, very refined, very polished. And like the thing about these things is it's not as easy as you would think to execute on this. It just works magically out of the box every time AI. It's hard, and Windsurf Cascade does such a good job at that. But we got to get to Cursor, because Cursor has been the leader for some time. Cursor is the fastest growing SaaS company ever, from $1 to $100 million. They have grown completely on word of mouth. There's no genius go-to-market strategy. There's no paid acquisition strategy. There's no massive sales fleet out here crushing deals. Everybody is just impressed by Cursor. Cursor does such a good job. And before I used to say Cursor is a little harder to adopt because blah, blah, blah. Cursor just today opened their UI. In fact, the team shared with me the new UI updates right before they went out. And I got all these different models open. Hold on. Different Cursor band. Cursor is my daily driver. I switch about a different IDE a week. And I do hit, I use production code bases with a different IDE all the time. And Cursor is the one that I always come back to. all of them just get eventually dumb at some point. And Cursor changed the UI, finally, so that there's not a chat tab and a composer and a normal mode and an agent mode, and the agent mode always goes back to normal without you realizing it. Now, you just have 3 easy: agent, ask, and edit. And just use agent. You don't need the others. Type whatever you want, and it'll update anything you want in the code. They have the best tab to complete. It's fast. They have multi-tabbing. They invented a lot of this stuff. They have a really cool bug finder feature. But the GOAT of Cursor is YOLO mode. They probably need to change that name because it's scary. But if you go, check this out. Let's do a quick demo, and then let's go over here. By the way, they support MCP, and Windsurf supports MCP too. Model context protocol is coming to all the best players. So sorry, Clyde, it's not your advantage anymore, but they don't have a model context protocol store, so they're more annoying to use. Windsurf has a slightly easier approach. I haven't used cursors. It may not be bad. Add new MCP server. Yeah, it's good enough. But what you got to do, you got to go to features. You got to scroll down. You got to turn on YOLO mode. Do not be afraid, because you can limit. YOLO mode will automatically run commands that the AI suggests, but what it'll do, sorry, let's get rid of this, and you'll see in a second. What it'll do is let you filter, like, what do you want? You can give a prompt, like, I want only tests to run automatically, and I'll show you why. And you can be more explicit. Here's the allow list: npm test, npm tsc. I actually am not entirely sure if this is like partial or full match or whatever, so I just added everything. Any kind of testing, just do it. And then you get the absolute best workflow I've ever used in my entire life. So check this out. Let's just make something up. I'm going to say, make me a function that converts Markdown to HTML. Write tests first, then iterate until tests pass. Great. So let's run this live. And so what's cool, and I'll clear out all this stuff. Let's make it a little simpler. And maybe we'll open, okay. So now it's going to create the tests. Boom, there's our tests. Fantastic, beautiful. And the test is good. You can change the test. You can have written your own tests. So a lot of people, I made this micro agent project before, which uses this approach from a terminal. I just use Cursor now. You don't got to use micro agent. It's cool. I made it. Boom, and here we go. It's running the test automatically. No hands, 1 test failed. It is just straight up writing and iterating until the test passes. I use Clots on it for all of these, by the way, and I recommend Clots on it for all of these. Boom, it's finding what it's doing, and it's running the tests again. Tests are the only way to get guarantees that the AI did what you expected, at least something closer to a guarantee. And bam, no hands, 1 shot. I have found that almost no AI can 1-shot the convert Markdown to HTML and passing, a pretty non-trivial set of tests. But let's do something else. Let's say add more complex tests and iterate until they pass. This is how I code every day. I don't hardly touch the keyboard. Some people even use Whisper or something, I forgot what it's called, so they just use their mouth. They never touch the keyboard. They just look at stuff, look at their app and just say and they just speak, and then it goes into Cursor and just builds. One of these days Cursor's gonna have a voice too, or maybe it already does with whatever these people are using. You just talk to it. This is your developer who's just building you this stuff. Now, yes, sometimes weird bugs are generated and I have to debug them, and thank goodness I know how to code. I don't think coding is going away as a skill. I think babysitting these AIs becomes an ever more nuanced skills, and the more coding experience you have, the more you're going to be effective at it and not end in these pit of deaths where you're just stuck. Here we go. Test failed. It's going to figure it out. No hands. Cursor automatically, just like Windsurf and Cline, if there's type errors and lint errors to catch it. There are times where, here's another thing I do that's really cool with Cursor. I'll just type in, I'll see oh, there's a TSC error somewhere. I see that on my dev server. And I'll just be there's a TSC error. Run TSC and fix it. And it'll run TypeScript compiler. It'll find the type errors. It'll go fix it. It'll run it again. It'll iterate until all of them are fixed. So all you have to do is just say, solve all the lint errors across the project. Solve all the TypeScript errors. Whatever you want. It is freaking incredible. Cursor is God tier. And it not only has all the features, it now has a cleaner, simpler UI, literally as of today. It is ridiculously fast, but it's just the most refined. They were the first to do a lot of these really key essential features, and they've been the best. They consistently out-execute everyone else. I'm so impressed. There's a reason why they passed the vibe check further than everybody else, why everybody recommends Cursor. Cursor is, today, in my opinion, the best AI IDE. How do I open up Chrome? There we go. Cursor is S tier without a doubt. Now, what's going to happen later this year or next year? One thing I know is that Windsurf and Cursor, and without a doubt Cline, and certainly GitHub Copilot is too, and probably Trae, and probably not Zed. They're all working on more agentic flows. They're all working on like, can the system do more without needing you, the human, involved? And they're going to continue to do that, and that's the next frontier, right? Devin came out like, we could do that, and they were bad at it. Cursor is incrementing their way there, and they're working. They're working more on like, hey, can they put... can they do more of this offline, right? I would like to have multiple cursor agents working at once, because sometimes I'm like letting the agent do a UI thing here, but I want to do a backend thing here, but it's on the same repo. So some people use like Git workspaces or other things, or just clones of their project to just have two cursors going at once. That's another cool thing. Like, man, I just wish I could fire off a bunch of these and they could just all work on it and fix their things. I'm super excited about the future. I believe in the Cursor team. They will probably deliver the future before anybody else. They're just so talented. But there's a curveball here, which is OpenAI, and I have the sense from just like, can't speak about the specifics without getting in trouble. I have the sense Anthropic is working really hard on this too. They're working on full-on agentic coders too, just like go do your code, fix projects, etc. I think it's very, very, very exciting time, and this list can change at any time. And I believe it'll continue like this. I think the Cursor team is an S-tier team at cooking. Windsurf number 2, Cline number 3, these two number 4, and Zed. Please prove me wrong one day. I'm impressed by your ability to build an IDE from scratch with Rust. Step it up on the AI. Like, take it seriously. Like, please, 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 please. That's it, y'all. I have to go to a meeting that I'm late for with some friends at, actually, I shouldn't name the company. Big company, great partners. Thank you so much. This is my overview of who I think is the best AI IDE. But what matters most is, what do you think? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. Tell me what you think is the best AI IDE. What am I wrong at? Is this video going to go outdated the moment I post it? It's very possible. But thank you so much, y'all, for coming and hanging out with me. I had an absolute blast, and I'm trying to stream more regularly, so I will catch you next time.